Hi guys, Martin Curry from Belief Media. Hello, and Domenico. Hello to you.
Hello.
Welcome to what is probably the fifth video we're going to send you in our email marketing sequence. This email marketing sequence is set up to demonstrate the effectiveness and power and edutainment-based components of an email marketing experience. So the email marketing experience is one part of a marketing funnel experience. They are not to be confused with each other. And this video introduces the uniqueness of the website integration that we provide to clients, and indeed the free website we provide to clients. A complimentary website we provide out of absolute necessity. The marketing funnel experience. Do you want to recap on that for those that haven't seen it?
We spoke about the marketing funnel and how important it is, and we deviated a lot in that discussion. And I suppose it's hard not to, because it is like a bit of a web. You know, the funnel leads into the web page, it leads into advertising, it leads into follow-up with clients. There's a lot of parts that come into the funnel, and so we did touch on those areas. One thing we should have mentioned also is it was more of a brief overview.
Very much so, yeah.
But our podcasts, the first one, Hello World, and the third one, A Closer Look, delve into it a lot more. We also got the fourth podcast, Rescue package. And those ones are great ones to listen to if you really want to get into the details of the funnel, the layers of the funnel, how we consider it multidimensional, three-dimensional, the difference between the sales and the marketing funnel. And they're great podcasts to get back into. But back to the website, we regard that as a very critical and central piece.
Do you remember the other day, sorry, I don't mean to ignore you there, do you remember the other day we were talking about family ties? Do you remember why we were talking about family ties? It kind of just occurred to me. And we were talking about the Thursday night lineup.
Yeah.
The old NBC Thursday night lineup. And this is a story that, I don't know why I'm telling now, but I'll tell it nonetheless. On Thursday night, NBC used to be the third rated network in America. They would have been the fourth had there been four networks. They were performing really, really poorly. And what elevated them to a point where they started to see significant success. This is pre-Olympics, because the Olympics obviously took them to the next level, was the Thursday night lineup. And do you remember what that was?
One was Simpsons, Cheers.
No, it wasn't Simpsons. I don't think it was Simpsons. It started with The Cosby Show. Yeah. So I think it was The Cosby Show, Family Ties, Cheers was one, and then Night Court, I think. I think they were four, but there was perhaps five or six. There used to be a couple of rappers around that. Each of those episodes piggybacked off the success of another. All right, that's kind of an email sequence, and that's what we want in an email sequence. So in a marketing funnel, when we make contact with someone, we want them to piggyback off the previous experience, be entertained, educated, and sort of move on. But that experience set them apart. And they became, remember, I know what it was. We were talking about Family Ties. Season 3, Episode 1 saw 60 million viewers. And I don't know why we were talking about that.
We're talking about The Late Show Wars.
The Late Wars. Yeah, that's right. Conan O'Brien that's right. And I don't know how they took us onto Family Ties, but
we're talking about the number of viewers, and that led to,
That's right. The number of people that were watching, what was that guy's name on TBS? George Lopez Tonight. Lopez Tonight, they used to call it. And Domenico and I both spent a lot of time in America for a whole bunch of different reasons. Domenico was a director with Oracle. I was an airline pilot, flew to America sort of once every 10 days or so. And also I gave lectures on the lecture circuit. If ever I went back there and did talks, particularly in San Francisco, Chicago, places like that, they were the only channels that I'd watch. It was basic cable, and I'd watch reruns of Seinfeld and The Simpsons and stuff like that if I was stuck in my hotel room with nowhere to go. But George Lopez Tonight, which wasn't a funny show at all, it's worth checking it out on YouTube, only ever got 1 million viewers. That was kind of where he peaked. When Conan came in, obviously it dropped off. So the ratings war is the war you're playing with your competitors. It's a ratings war. Your marketing funnel, so your Thursday night lineup, let's say that's your email campaign, needs to be better than the other guys. So it's interesting there because
It's a good comparison because it is that, because people's attention are diverted and dissected into many different areas, and it's sort of vying for that bit of attention and then offering them something where they want to listen to it and they want to learn more.
yes. Anyway, so moving on, in the last video, we stressed a few points. I'll repeat them now. Not everyone who's watching this video would have seen our previous, but the first one is obviously our digital marketing and social media experience, and our marketing funnel, our broad marketing funnel, the application of that, returns more volume and more business and is more successful and persuasive than any digital experience made available to the Australian mortgage market, certainly any business in Australia, because we don't deal with just mortgage brokers, but certainly they represent at the moment about 90% of our business and have done since 2015, where we've almost worked exclusively with mortgage brokers. But that's not at the exclusion of anyone else that wants to knock on the door and have us work for them. So we do have the most powerful digital marketing experience in the market. Mortgage brokers have not known, or at least with the exception of those people that have worked with us, they have not known what a digital marketing experience looked like. And we made the point, and we're going to make it again throughout this video, that if your digital marketing representation has sent you off to Kartra, Lead Pages or ClickFunnels, they're 3 external landing page services, that is a clear indicator of mediocrity, and I consider it professional fraud. Right, I really do. If you've got paid digital representation and they've provided you with one of those 3 services, they've objectively failed you. They have failed you. Simple as that. And the reason being, in fact, there's a number of reasons, and certainly there are brokers that have told me in the past, oh, the guy I did some Facebook ads with or something said I didn't need a website. I guess technically that's true, but you also are not going to get good conversions. Conversion rate optimization, CRO, and return on investment should be a top priority. Optimizing upon your experience and generating more for less. Getting business above the other guy. And that's why our guys do so well. As I explained in the last video, it's not one thing. The reason our book is 650 pages long is because it details a whole bunch of different projects and programs and features and so on that we implement in order to get people lots and lots and lots and lots of business. And we want our brokers to set themselves apart from the other people, and that's why they do well. Now, the website is central to that.
Yeah, the website we consider so important that we actually throw in and give a website included in the product. The hosting is a bit different, but the actual website, the design of it, is all included. And it's not just the static website, including a static template website. Look, it doesn't really take much effort to do that. But this is this is an advanced website that we call a chameleon website because it changes and morphs based on the person who's visiting the website, their interests. We over time we build up a profile and an understanding of what a person's interested in, and so the website changes to show them content appropriate for their interests.
Based on the interaction within the marketing funnel, which was the subject of the last video we sent, and a good marketing funnel experience and a good website experience lends itself then to search engine optimization. You can optimize your website really well. You start to generate content and so on, and it attracts an organic audience. And that's the point I made in the last video, and that is every single page on your website represents a potential organic entry point. So if you do well in SEO, or you've got lots of pages that, lots of content and so on that starts to rank in a search engine, any one of those pages represents a potential organic entry point. If you share a page on social media, or if anyone else shares a page on social media, so they're doing the advertising for you, and people follow that link to your site, your website then needs to provide some sort of conversion opportunity. And it's that point I made. I make it in every video, and that is every single page on your website is a potential organic entry point. Therefore, every single page on your website is a type of landing page. Therefore, every single page on your website needs to provide some sort of conversion opportunity. So while we do, we provide you with a website that has these really cool building blocks, if you like, to build turnkey landing pages. It takes 5 seconds. In fact, if you're building them from the digital marketing platform, it's a click of a button. If you're building them from within the website, it's you drag and drop the landing page into the page. It's really as simple as that. and then it just renders your form, renders the image for the lead magnet or your video or whatever else. It's really powerful and amazing stuff. It does in 5 seconds what might take other people a couple of weeks to do.
And that
right?
drag and drop's important too, because when we talked about every page needs a conversion opportunity, and you might start thinking, oh gosh, that's going to be a fair bit of work. How do I get that onto the page? What do I put on there? And it is, just drag it on and it's there. Yeah.
That's into, you're talking about into a page template. So we've got a page set up. It's the way WordPress works. We've got a specific page assigned to landing pages, and you just drag your default conversion, so your default form, onto that page, and it returns on every page. From within the platform, getting ahead of ourselves, but from within the platform, you can define your default form. Forms are created within the platform. As they're created in the platform, it just automatically sends it to your website, and everything is just pulled in automatically on your website. You don't really need to touch it that much. In fact, we don't encourage it. Other than content creation, we don't want you having to design stuff and build stuff. That's why we've got turnkey landing pages. You drag via an Elementor page builder we give you, which is a licensed Elementor page builder. We've got a Belief Media section there, which has all our all our elements for different types of video content, video panels, graphs, and all that sort of stuff. But one of those is what we call a landing panel. We don't actually call them landing pages on. We describe this in our book, but we don't call our landing pages. Well, we call our landing pages a dedicated landing page, a landing page, which is just a page on your website, free of header, footer, sidebar, other distractions, and so on. We'll come to talk about that in a second. So it's really focusing on just what's important, which is the conversion opportunity. But those landing panels, so on one side, split down the middle, this is a two-split column. On one side you've got your form, on the other side you've got your lead magnet picture or video or something like that. Those two elements can repeat themselves anywhere. That's why we call them a landing panel, because you can pull them onto any page you want. Any page, right? The way we design these things is if it's a landing page and you pull that landing page thing into your
landing panel onto the page.
No, if you pull the landing panel, onto a page, it'll render top text. It gives you all these different elements that are just populated with data that it pulls in from the platform. So a title, a subtitle, stuff on the left, stuff on the right, text above form, text below form, all that sort of stuff. But if you're just dragging it in on a standard page, all it does is pull in those two basic elements, which is what you want and what you need in order to convert someone on every page. So when people come to me, I mentioned this in the last video, when people come to me, and they do all the time, my website doesn't convert, I get no business of it. And some businesses have never seen a single lead off their website. If you're not getting, multiple leads a day, or at least multiple real subscribers a day that are being ingested into your marketing funnel experience, which takes them on that journey. And by the way, that's the leftover stuff. Because there will always be those people that call you on the basis of the information presented on your website.
And that's what some of those people may be referring to when they talked about my web page doesn't convert. They probably have more of a business card type web page and website, and they're just assuming people will come there, read it, pick up the phone and call. But you also need the SEO part of it, which we spoke about a couple of emails back or videos back, to drive people to your web page for that to occur even.
That's right. So when somebody comes to me and says my website doesn't convert, of course the response to that is it doesn't convert because there's no means upon which for people to actually convert. In many cases, it's difficult to find a phone number or anything else, but certainly a secondary means of conversion, if not a phone number, if not calling you straight away, is back into your marketing funnel where you develop and nurture these people, educate them through your edutainment-based marketing funnel experience. And if that marketing funnel experience is a better experience than others that they might be on, they will be developed into a client and customer. So if you have a really good persuasive digital marketing system in place, and as far as I'm concerned, we're the only company in Australia to provide that for mortgage brokers, you will generate more business. You can triple your business organically overnight if you have a really good digital experience in place, just without doing anything else, right? It's not hard because they're a little. You can multiply your business by 10 times and 15, 20 times. We've got clients that, on the basis of their website, are generating hundreds of leads a month. They don't all convert, obviously, but they're leads nonetheless, and they convert over time. And that's what we're seeing power some of the most powerful and fastest growing businesses in the country at the moment. You mentioned the other day, and despite the fact we provide the industry's leading Facebook program, certainly in the finance industry, we provide the leading experience. There are some really good companies in this country. I tend to be pretty hard on the Facebook marketing brigade. Usually they're those people that Kartra, Lead Pages, ClickFunnels. They're just those pretenders, right? But there are some really good companies out there, and some amazing companies actually that do some really good things in the SEO and digital space. They're very innovative and everything else. So when I'm critical of these people, I'm usually critical of the bad people. And that's why I've got the rescue package, which is tailored towards people that have come up off specific products that are really poor. And we've only included products into our rescue package when we've determined that our free product, 1800funnels.com.au, our old Uranus product, is at least 3 times more powerful than those products. So we hate seeing people pay for garbage, right? So moving on.
And with the website, while we give you a website, you don't have to use the website. Like if you've got your own website, you can use your own. There are a couple of advantages. There's a lot more integration with our website that links into the platform Yabba. And so there's a lot more automation should you choose to use our template or our website. The hosting, like I mentioned, is a bit extra. But yeah, you can definitely use your own, but it's also not much effort. Elemental is a page builder. It's fairly simple to use, and it doesn't take much to even migrate your existing web page to the one that we provide with all the automation features. So that's a consideration that also can be considered. But again, it's all optional.
Just give us a call and have a chat to us. So if you are considering our digital marketing social media platform, I'm going to start saying Yabba soon, which is the name of the actual platform that I've really never used. But if you are considering using the platform, give us a call and we can certainly guide you on platform on your website integration, because that's a big deal, because your website is the center of your marketing universe. Our website, the only advantage really is that it integrates more seamlessly with some of the automated-based experiences. Things like, now we mentioned before, it's the chameleon of the website world. It takes and changes shape based on what people are interested in, what pages they're viewing and so on. So based on links that they've followed in email, links they've followed from internal links within your actual website, a whole bunch of different conditions. There are about 10 different conditions really that apply and feed our system with information on what these people are doing. Now that's very extensive. It actually extends to what emails they're opening, what material they're clicking on, whether they've completed Venus reports, all those sorts of things combined to this predictive interest. And on the basis of that, we serve them the most relevant information on your website. If they're interested in first home buying, if they're interested in their first home, if they're purchasing their first home, we'll feed them with first home buyer information. We'll further segregate that based on state if we can resolve that, which is almost always the case. Although it's more difficult now on mobile connections. I was on one of our client sites the other day, and they're in Coffs Harbour, and it was showing a Queensland location based on the IP address and things. So it's not always perfect, but it's about 98% perfect. So for that portion of the market that you're catering for directly, it's obviously more beneficial. And if you're an investor, it'll show you investor-related information. If you're refinancing, it'll show you refinancing videos, all those sorts of things. All these things change and evolve on your website to cater for a specific person. Remember, this is an individual. This is your website taking shape for an individual. It's not changing shape for everyone. It's catering for the specific person that's viewing the site. There are other things that apply. Such as we talk about escalation of commitment all the time. It's the basis of a digital marketing excursion. Digital marketing funnel is an escalation of commitment. People start off at one point and end up on the phone. The excursion is that. So if somebody subscribes to a particular lead magnet on the front page of your website, which should always be there on the front page of your website, and I'll come to talk about that in a second, remind me. Okay, do remind me. But if somebody subscribes to a lead magnet on the front page of your website, they've subscribed. We don't want to show them that lead magnet again, because we can escalate. They've already committed to something. They've shown interest. We know what they're interested in, and we can apply what's called an escalation of commitment. So we can cycle through a number of forms. If they download form book 1, we can show them book 2. If they download book 2, we can show them book 3, and so on. And then if we determine that they've changed direction, they're interested in something else, we can show them that list starting from scratch all over again, where we show them something that's more relevant. If they're an investor, we can show, oh, you're an investor, we better switch you over to that program, and show them investor booklets and so on. To set something like that up is not easy, by the way, but the facility is there upon which to make it happen. I say it's not easy, it's drag and drop, but you just have to have the lead magnet in order to provide it, and then it's just a form.
Yeah, I was just going to add to that, even the industry trends, we keep an eye on what the industry trends are, and we feed that into the system if necessary, or we believe that some major change has taken place which will be beneficial to display.
Yeah, that's a single button you click on the platform, and that's to allow what we call BNet, which is a machine-based learning system, to make changes on your website on your behalf. Now, it works in reverse as well. So based on interactions on your website and your email experience and so on, we can identify trends and things like that. This is what the marketing funnel does, and it's designed to do, and that is identify trends, identify interest, identify what people are gravitating towards. So it identifies cult or group behaviours, if you like, and based on the behaviour on a website and all that other stuff, everything that happens with the marketing funnel. What else can we change? I'll let you talk about that. So YouTube and Facebook.
Yeah, I was wondering if that's what you're referring to. So
yeah, I know.
I was thinking banners in my head. When it comes to parts of the year, like Christmas or holiday periods, we used to get a lot of requests, and it was just time consuming, where, can you change the banner ad on the website or the social sites, just to include a little Santa Claus or whatever it was that you'd like to be there. So we decided to automate all that. So you can actually set up a schedule where between this date and this date, certain banners change, and it changes across everywhere, not just the website, but also across all the social media.
Yeah, that's user-defined automation. That applies for any holiday: Easter, Christmas, Anzac Day, Australia Day, any other day that might be of national or state interest. And you can define that in advance. The same way we define our voicemail, for example, through our VoIP system, through 1-800-JABBER, which is another system that is intrinsically connected to our marketing funnel experience. We can set up time of day redirections or voicemail for particular times of year. Our voicemail is set up for Christmas already, for example. And Easter and other days.
All the public holidays for the whole year.
Yeah, all the public holidays, all that sort of stuff.
They're small things, but they just add up to, you don't have to concern yourself about it. You just set it up and forget about it. And there's lots of little saving things like that throughout the system. That's just a good example of one.
The example that Dom gave with the Facebook banner and YouTube banner, because I don't think he really went into it, unless I just phased out and didn't listen, is that our system can automate those changes based on predictive behaviour. So if we identify first-time buyer trends, we'll just automatically change. If we see a rapid trend, and the system will identify rapid trends, or an escalating trend and so on, or if it flattens out at a particular point where it reaches a certain threshold. There are a lot of different conditions that have to be met on our end, something users don't have to worry about. But on the basis of that happening, our system will change your Facebook page to better reflect first-time buyer information, and change, or to, it changes YouTube banners to show first-time buyer information. It just and the same thing applies for investors and refinancing and all that bizzo, right? If there's government grants that are new, we might put a government grant banner up that if it applies straight away, if it's brand new and nobody knows anything about it.
In that case, yeah.
That'll if that's the case, yeah, we'll jump ahead of the automation and then apply that to all the websites that are automated. We still brand it with your logo and your phone number and all that sort of stuff. That's all automated. It just happens on our end. So within 15 minutes of a government announcement being made, should it be made, and we missed this last year with first-home buyers, is that that will just be applied almost immediately. And if you're not first, you're last. That's a Ricky Bobby saying, isn't it? From Talladega Nights. You don't know what I'm talking about. Do you know what Ricky Bobby? Do you know who he is? Do you know what Talladega Nights is?
No. No shame in admitting it either.
This is what I'm dealing with, people. There's an enormous amount of automation that is applied on the basis of interactions on your website. And that's because it's full stack and fully integrated experience. Fully integrated is important. The time it takes some people to integrate something as silly as a form on their website has historically, I've seen people try and integrate through MailChimp stuff. If you're using MailChimp, there's a problem in this world. Most of the time, MailChimp integration is non-compliant. Most of the time. But I've seen people try and copy and paste. I've seen people have videos where they spend 5 hours saying, this is how you integrate this on your website. This is how you, well, not your website, onto a lead pages page. Because they're not clever enough to integrate it into a website. And they say, this is how you copy the code. This is where you copy it from and do this and do that. All our stuff is click a button and it happens. We don't want you to get bogged down in the complexity of having to copy code. Like, that's just monkey stuff. This is digital media. In digital environment, you're not meant to have people copy and paste. It's just ridiculous, the stuff people do in this industry now. It makes your website experience a pleasurable one.
And it gives you the time to work on content, work on your business, work on the creativity side of things on the copy part of it. So it's good, instead of the mechanical part of it.
You just think about the automation we've discussed there, changing banners and things like that. It's something that people would never normally do. Now, I know people that have charged, graphic designers and things, have charged to upload your logo with a Santa hat. Right, in reality, that takes about, if I was to do that for a client, it'd take the better part of 40 seconds, right? I've seen people charge for that. $80 minimum fee.
Yeah, they hit the hour charge for it.
Yeah, and it's just unacceptable. It's look, there was an occasion, sadly, last year where I had to change about 400 of our client websites. Do you remember that? And it was a nightmare because I had to go through and do them all individually, and that's because I hadn't completed a certain automation module. So our previous automation module no longer applied because I just pulled it down prematurely and then didn't get it ready. So I think it was Christmas or New Year's. I think it was Christmas, actually, where I had to then go through and update this stuff manually. So if you're doing 400, I understand why people charge, but if you're doing 400 and you're charging $80 a pop, for a day's work, it's probably a little bit excessive when it takes a minute. But nonetheless, we do automate that, and it's a lot of these little things that add up to a lot. When you don't have to worry about what your website is doing because it's just taking care of itself.
And if people come up with other examples of what they find is mechanical time consuming, because we actually built the product, we can enhance it to include those. So there's a section in the system where you can provide feedback and we'll just schedule it into our sprints.
I asked Domenico before to remind me to talk about the landing panels and videos on the front page. He didn't remind me, but it's worth talking about. A lot of the features on the front page of your website. All right, we always, every video we've ever said, and I'm going to say it again now because I really want to drum this into people. I want it to become like this little mortgage broker digital anthem. Every single page on your website is an organic entry point. Therefore,
we're going to write a jingle to that, aren't we?
Every single page on your website is, we've got a guitar, let's go for it. Every single page on your website is a type of landing page. Therefore, every single page on your website needs to provide some sort of conversion opportunity. We did mention briefly there's an option to drag and drop there if you want to. There's an option on the platform to set a default conversion form, but The front page is quite important because it's highly trafficked. A lot of people go to your front page, and surprisingly, a lot of people go to your blog page. So, beliefmedia.com.au/blog. It's the entry page for your blog. We've made it real simple there. It's select from a select menu. What conversion do you want to show on those pages? For the front page, there's about 6 or 7 options, and that is what panel of 3 videos do you want to show? What text do you want here? What text do you want there? So rather than having to go to your website and have to change that yourself, we just get you to do that on the platform. And that gives our system, the reason we did that, by the way, is I hope it makes sense, is that we have then the capacity. Our system has the capacity to update that on your behalf as part of the BNet predictive system. So if we identify those first-time buy trends, we're able to change some of the information in forms and things like that because everything is in a very predefined and fixed location. And the elements of that front page are important. You only want something there if it offers value, if it shows something, if it demonstrates something. I don't know if it was one of the mortgage broker videos or another one we talked about the other day, where it was it's in the manual, it's in the finance marketing guide, so it would have been a finance marketing video where we talk about, there was a website I went to, and there was a picture of a door on the front, like it took up above the fold, which is the top half of the entry page. It took up the majority of real estate on that page, and there was some fluffy generic message there like open the door for opportunity or something. There was nothing there to indicate that that was a mortgage broker website. So the companies that are doing well are those ones with like 4 little boxes across the front showing rates at 1 point whatever and percent and $3,000, $4,000 cash back, all those sorts of things. Those things that capture your attention and suck you sort of deeper into the experience and draw your attention and get you into the marketing experience or directly onto the phone, again, which is the priority. Now, much of the time, you can have a lead magnet directly in that top half above the fold of the website, and that performs incredibly well, like really, really well. But if you don't have that, then just below the top above the fold, so just below that big entry section of your website is where you have the primary subscription experience, and then below that we almost always, if you have one, a video. 53 times more likely to be on the front page of Google on the basis of having a video on a page. Therefore, it stands to reason you should probably have a video on every single page on your website, shouldn't you?
Yeah, and it's very simple to do.
It is. There was a period of time where we trialled that. I don't know if you remember, about 5 years ago, whenever we did a plugin, a WordPress plugin or something, we did a 1 minute video. And they were really, really quick to do because they were only 1 minute. And we stuck about 5 or 6 on YouTube to see how they would go. And they weren't a huge success because the videos themselves were too quick and they didn't actually show anything and they didn't provide enough value, right? But we did kind of try it. Now, we did it with a mortgage broker website who had probably about 120 on blog posts on his website. We went through and throughout the course of a year, we put a video on every single one of those pages. And his ranking in Google and being absolutely skyrocketed. In fact, he occupies the pole position now, I think, for a whole bunch of keywords in Victoria and a whole bunch in Adelaide. He doesn't rank well in Sydney, but he does nothing in Sydney. So he gets no Sydney traffic, which is one thing to consider with search engines, is it is very geographical and local search is very important. So that should be your focus. But I'm sort of getting ahead of myself there, I guess, as well. So the website is really cool. We give that to you populated with about 25 pages. It's got calculators and all sorts of stuff on it. It's got the drag and drop editor. And by the way, that's provided to you in a day, less than a day. If you were to call us at midday, we would have that online in many cases by 2 p.m, up and operational. And it took a long time to get to the point where we were able to deliver upon that. But it is a generic website. And that's the thing. That's why we give it to you for free. It's generic. We don't design it specifically for you. It's got your logo and your phone number and all that sort of stuff in it. So it appears as your website, but we do expect you to go in and change a few colours and maybe pictures and add some text and just flavour it up a bit. Make it your own. We say all the time, give it, have it reflect your brand, your personality, your business culture, and build upon those points of differentiation and so on. Really have yourself positioned in the market and take advantage of that and. It's flair. Give it a personal flair.
But so even though we use the word generic there, it's the wording and the colours that are generic, not the functionality. The background functionality and all the advanced features are all there, ready to go.
We don't want it to look like anyone else's website, and we show you how to change it. It's super easy to do. It takes about a minute and a half actually to change the primary colours and so on. You move things around. It's dragging and dropping to move things around. You can add elements in seconds. It is a super, super easy experience. We just want to have you online as quickly as possible, and that website over time will develop into a fantastic resource if you apply effort and energy and care.
And we do include the Elementor license. We include that so you got access to all the tools that Elementor provides in order to modify and update the website.
Elementor is a page builder plugin, not unlike many people use WP Bakery and Beaver plugin and stuff like that, and they're all garbage. Like, I hate them. In fact, WordPress itself has a native editor which they call Gutenberg, and I hated them all until I saw Elementor. First of all, it took me a long time to get past the whole page builder thing because I always thought it was distracting. I always saw WordPress as a means for writing, not building. And unfortunately, page builders turn it into a building experience and writing kind of takes a back seat. Now, first of all, there are a couple of things that have happened. Multimedia has become more important. So you are building the site, in essence, by way of dragging in a video. It's easier to add anyhow, even via the old classic editor. And it doesn't mean that you can't or cannot still write. So look, I've gotten past that, and I develop for Elementor. Like we develop plugins for Elementor all the time. We develop plugins for all sorts of things, but we've committed ourselves to develop for Elementor. It is well and truly the most powerful editor of its type and in its class. So we give that to you, and it does permit you to build really powerful features on your website really, really quickly. So yeah, don't get bogged down in the word generic. And by the way, there are websites you can buy that are generic that are, there's one I know that costs $3,400. I spoke to him last year. I spoke to the guy who runs a business last year. $3,400 for a generic website. I couldn't wrap my head around that because it takes, 30 minutes to install. It's not a challenge. And then there's another company in Sydney that charges like $290 a month for a mortgage broker website. And I think to myself, well, and they're the same company that charges $240 for 15 social media posts. By the way, that's more expensive than our subscription. That $240 a month for 15 social media posts is more than we charge for everything. And ours includes a social media library that includes videos, dozens, thousands of images and all sorts of content and everything else. Integration with Google My Business and LinkedIn and all sorts of stuff. And that's the other thing. Your website posts. I'm jumping all over the place. This is crazy. Your website posts will be sucked into our platform, and you can schedule them to filter out into social media automatically. That's an important feature because you do want it to be shared. And Google My Business. There's a recycle feature there. This is another point I'll mention real quick before I hand over to you because I'm running out of breath. But Google My Business, if you, we obviously advocate for SEO. I think I've made that pretty clear. If you search for, your business and your business comes up and you have that panel on the right-hand side with your business details, there's a section there for your latest posts. And often they'll include your images alongside your other business details. But those latest posts are only posts that have been posted within the previous 7 days. So what we do is after 7 days, we'll repost your selected articles all over again. You don't want to post everything all over again, but we'll post selected articles. So we'll keep that alive. So you'll generate and garnish more business on the basis of your Google My Business profile. You can also post images to Google My Business via our social media system, which means you can post it from Instagram if you want. The integration is quite extraordinary and it's broad. We can only really suggest you look into the Finance Marketing Guide and read through it. I do apologise for it being 650 pages. It's long, but we felt that it was really necessary to properly articulate the scope of the platform functionality. It was really necessary, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. And the index is pretty thorough, so you can also look through the index and zoom in on the parts that you want to read up first up. Otherwise, just flick through it and there'll be plenty that will catch your eye. And reading that alone, you will increase your business alone just reading that manual. We've mentioned that in the pre-downloaded video.
Yeah. There's
And Google My Business, we should add there, if you haven't already registered for Google My Business, go do it now. Don't even hesitate.
Do you remember the login? Is it google.com/business still? Or is it business.google.com? Or
Don't remember. But all you have to do is Google My Business registration.
Yeah.
And it's the first link.
yeah, you really need that. You need your Google My Business profile. That's
Because it does take time.
It does take time. If you haven't been verified in the past, your business hasn't been verified with Google, they can often send you a postcard in the mail, which is such a bizarre way of doing
and
it.
that took 2 months for a friend of mine to get that recently. Almost 2 months
2
before it
months.
arrived. Yeah. And that was during the COVID. So, but it was still 8 weeks before they were able to verify themselves and get their profile active.
For most people that I have known who have had to do that, it's taken about 2 weeks.
Well, they said 2 weeks on the website. They said expect it within 2 weeks.
Yeah, but I have heard cases where it takes a lot longer.
Yeah.
Getting anything changed on Google My Business is really challenging as well. Google My Business includes reviews. It's worth noting that our platform pulls in your Google My Business reviews along with your Facebook reviews. It rationalizes them. It consolidates them into a single resource. From there, you can send it off to what we call the Image Factory, which creates an image quote. We're thinking about automating that. We haven't really decided. Read the manual, guys. It'll open your eyes and try and make a comparison against what you understand to be available to the mortgage industry and the market. So compare what we've provided in that manual with what you have long considered to be a standard. Unfortunately, lead generation is a dirty word, and it is a dirty word. So lead generation and digital marketing are two different things. Lead generation just happens to be part of digital marketing. Your website experience is fundamental to that. We've introduced the marketing funnel in the last video. It is instrumental in drawing, attracting, and converting people into passionate advocates and clients and referrers and all that sort of stuff. So, again, please read the manual. If you are interested in more information,
1300 Belief, 1300 235 433. And also a website, www.beliefmedia.com.au.
thanks, guys. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.